Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing okay, not too bad. I'm a little tired. I at daybreak every day this week there has been barking dogs. I think somebody went back to work or school or something, I don't know, but these two dogs south of me just screaming all day long. Didn't happen this morning, but they were out hunting for small game before the sun even came up, which is illegal. But what was most illegal was there was about 100 shots. I'm thinking to myself, small game like squirrels, rabbits, birds. I hope they got something to eat out of all the rounds that they shot off. Because, yeah, I'm a little tired because of it. But, when you get woke up, it isn't the time of day necessarily. It's being woke up because of somebody else. So, but it's okay. I'll live through it. It happens every fall with the hunting thing. Some days it's really terrible. Um, Depending on the amount of hunters around that come into the country. I think people should hunt where they live. If you live in the city, well, there you go. That's where you can get a license to hunt. You know, that's my thoughts on it because to me, say like if I feed the squirrels, the birds, the deers, which I do, and a lot of our stuff on our land does, and then they wander over into somebody else's yard and they're killing everything in sight. If it's like the last remaining pheasant, cock, the male, or hen, you know, um, it's like it doesn't occur to them that there may not be that many of this species around and they're just blasting everything in sight. I don't know, dogs, kitties, who knows? It's like there's not enough animals out there. Or to take 12 shots at something. It's like, can't you hit it with the first one? You know? I don't know. Anyway. So that's not what I'm going to talk about today, but just thought I'd let you know if I'm a little off topic or here and there. I'm not really set on anything I'm going to talk about except for trying to take back the scriptures of Christianity for everybody and let people see clearly, what does the church want you to know? What don't they want you to know? What was changed and what we need to change back? How we need to claim these scriptures of truth and honesty and our history for ourselves, not somebody else's history, but yours or mine. You know, you have to make the distinction. Are you following a cannibal bloodline or are you following a non cannibal bloodline? Um, Ones that have in the past had kids as sacrifices, and I'm not talking about goats, goat babies, you know, and their intentions in society, or do you actually care about families in society, and is actual term Christianity, what does that mean to you? What do the scriptures mean to you? Are you one of these that are your morals over dogma, or are you okay with the dogma that has been written? Here's a part that bothers me. It said in the scriptures that many in the church there will be a great falling away. That's away from the church. That's not away from God. but they're going to make it sound like the great falling away is you and God when that is not what's happening. The scholars and the people and the truthers out there that I've ran across, they're coming closer together in communities and with the truth of language and scriptures and texts that we know were written before they got monkeyed with. There's absolute proof that we're sharing with each other, and the ones that want the absolute truth, we enjoy that. So I was really brave last night. I took about 6 inches off my hair. I bunched it up and then I um chopped it off pretty good. Um, Doug helped me with some of it. There's some, like, there's a few scragglers. It's not too bad though, because with the waves in it and stuff, it's like super, super hard to chop. So, once you get like one part, you think it's even, and then, but I just bunched it up and then I reached in back myself. I put a ponytail down here and cut upside down with my hands out in back of me. And Doug's like, "How'd you do that?" He said, "You did a better job than I could." Well, the thing is, um, unless it was my younger son cutting my hair, or I'll let Doug snip on some scraggly spots he helped me with. But I've gone in and had like beauticians, and I studied beautician. I almost was going to do that instead of nursing. And here, this is the denseness of a young person. Like, you're 15, you're 16, what are you going to do in your life? So I get into learning about all these scalp diseases, and then I think, okay, maybe I just really don't want to be a beautician. Then I get into nursing because my adopted mother had gotten sick, and I wanted to learn all I could learn about cancer. And so I progressed from one sickness on a scalp to like the whole body, and what that sicknesses within the whole body was versus what I would have encountered um just on somebody's scalp. It's like, or skin or toenails or whatever, you know. But yeah, a little, not even ironic. It's just the way um, a young person's mind doesn't quite look at the whole scope of things sometimes in life. I don't regret it, and I still know enough about doing hair that I can actually cut somebody's hair or give them a permanent or whatever, or diet or whatever. I can do all these things, but you know, at least for myself, I don't have. I last time I went and got my hair trimmed, and this was quite some time ago. It was like $30 just to cut it off, but it is a little hard to. It's when it's longer, it's hard to comb. But I did. I chopped about, probably about like that much off. So that's what I called my sick hair because, um, like, I have pictures right after I had been bald. I let it grow out a little bit, and then I chopped it off just like my granddaughter had her hair cut. She was feeling a little sad and she did it herself. So I did mine the same way. And then I started growing it out. So, yeah. So I'm probably in about a month or something, I may take another chop at it. I think I got most of it pretty straight. I gotta actually comb it today, but oh, that one curly one. It's hard to tell here, but yeah, it's pretty good. It looks like a couple little scragglers, but yeah, like I say, a little difficult to do with waves and stuff in it. So, yeah, it feels better. I slept a little better last night because when I was rolling over, I wasn't, um, it down further, hard to turn around unless you have it like braided, and that's sometimes hard to sleep in if you got, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. So I was brave. I was watching Hamish from High Frequency Tribe, and he's got a couple rather famous videos giving himself a bowl cut, just shaped like a bowl around his head. And another one, I think he did like a mohawk one time. But I was watching him and I'm thinking about like when he did that on camera. Um, that's pretty brave to get on camera and cut your own hair. I mean, I see where these women are doing like a butterfly cut where it makes like layers. We used to do that too. We called it a shag haircut. We'd put it like on top our head, cut it off, and then when it fell, it was like the layered look. You can do it like that too, but nah, I don't I don't like bangs hanging in my eyes or any of that stuff falling in my face. So, yeah. And I don't want to have to, like, personally, I'm not into these hairstyles of gray, curly, short hair. It just, I don't know, it's just not my thing. Yeah. Anyway, I don't mind the gray. I just don't want it short and curly, like if that's the only hairstyle, that people can do or whatever. Older people. It's like all these women, all they do, they get older, they cut their hair. It's like, okay, whatever. Now what? Like, you lost a part of yourself, or you're too tired to comb through it, or I don't know. Or do they think it looks better if it's short and curly? I don't know. Think they got off a lot of competition with some of the men out there nowadays. They'd probably be borrowing your curling iron, if you have one. I think I got a couple of them around here, a big one and a little one, and I don't really use them. I used to once in a while, but yeah, I don't really need them. I don't think. I like myself the way it is, you know. To any of you out there that are getting older that don't dye your hair or feel like you have to put eyeliner on or make your cheeks rosy or whatever, rosier than what they are or whatever. Yeah, kudos to you. Good job. you know, Show the younger generation that you can feel beautiful or handsome at any age without the gewgaws. That's what if I can show the younger generation, especially my granddaughters, that you're just beautiful no matter what your age. That's the best thing I could tell anybody. Just, I don't know. It's my opinion, you know, you know. Anyway, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's like if you smell bad, then I suppose you would take a bath. If you think you're gonna look better by making your hair like darker or dyeing your beard or mustache, do you know how fake that really looks? If I came on here tomorrow and I had dyed my hair as black as that, Wouldn't that look a little ridiculous? You wouldn't even recognize me, you know? I could put on like black eyeliner and lashes and black hair. I could actually like red lipstick. You wouldn't even know me. I wouldn't even know myself, you know? I never wore all that like that anyway. I put a little bit of blush on, some mascara, and a little bit of lip gloss. And put all that all over my face. I have scars. I have places that people have actually bit me and scarred me, and it's like, but I am not that vain. You would have to get really close to me in order. You can probably see some of them, some of my scars from there, but you know, not just my face. My whole body is scarred up, cut up, beat up, and broken, but I'm still really strong, you know. So, yeah. So, what do you think about how important is it to you to have the truth? And if people that have studied this thing for decades present you, and not just one opinion, I mean, I'm talking about teachings and writings that have been concealed for hundreds of years, and now you're confronted with the truth. How important is that to you? You know, it's like the Mason Albert Pike wrote a book, Morals and Dogma. How about morals over dogma? There's Dan McKellen, a biblical scholar with a PhD, master's. Not that that matters. Not everybody with a PhD is super intelligent, but and his motto is truth over dogma. Well, I know sometimes that for him personally, and he's a Mormon, uh, a, a member of the Church of the Latter-day Saints. So uh, when he's confronted with some things that his church may not want him to go forward with, he's going forward with some of these things that I know other elders in that church. I don't know if he's considered an elder. I'm thinking he might be. He's about 50ish. But yeah. What if your church turns their back on you? You know, I wasn't one of these just little passive things like even in Sunday school, but when I got into my confirmation classes and we had to break down the Bible into three different sections. If any of you have ever been through that 3 year excruciating program to get confirmed, then you know what I'm talking about. But I wasn't one of these just sit there and take whatever I was fed and not ask any questions, because Christ instructs us, and I'm not using the term Jesus. And if you find out the language and who people are, you're going to understand why I won't. But that's totally up to you. Whatever you want to learn, to me, nothing. I'm not going to ever say anything to you to take God away from you or out of your heart at all. Not at one single time in my whole life would I ever do that to another human being. But how much do you care if you would do that to me? That's what I'm asking. How important are those scriptures? How important is the truth? Is it important to you that something was taken away from a certain group of people and claimed as their own and pushed as a falsehood with a false narrative behind it to make money and to keep people submissed? How important is it to you to take back the truth in those scriptures? That's what I want to know. You don't, a lot of people don't seem to have any problem whatsoever repeating what somebody else has told them, and that somebody else may not have even graduated Sunday school, let alone taken their education any further than that, you know? So, but even when I'd be sitting in the church when I was a kid, and I'd hear the pastor say a sermon, or if it was the priest in the Catholic Church, either one, or whatever. I've been to many different religious ceremonies or whatever. But, and I would hear something different in my soul than what was being told to me. Whatever it was, it just didn't sit right. It didn't ring true. And then they got to the point where, like, the pastor and his wife in my church stopped asking me what I thought of it. But I always would sort of find a way to make how I thought about it. Or I'd, it's suggestive reasoning, or not quite mind control, but, um, and not even hypnotic suggestion, but, uh, insertion of a thought towards a person that could make a difference in them text, that I would insert that thought, and then I would hear something a little bit different the following week, because what I had broached and what I had intervened and what I had put in there, I put a little different something, because they knew it was true and they knew they could verify what I was telling them. But then also at that time, I was starting to get into a lot of the literature that is not available to the public from the Masonic side of the situation, and I was able to bring more questions and more answers to the table, or with the people around me. You know, they didn't always like it, but I did, you know. So, because a lot of people think, well, okay, you learn the truth. And then, say, if you were making a video and you think you're talking to me, that I was just sitting in church thinking, well, this is the way it was, or, and this person is definitively the savior and whatever. No, I didn't think like that. My heart told me different, and I was out to prove the difference, um, because there was something weird about it. When you have a vibe within a church that is based on piracy of children, we'll just put it like that, then you have a little bit different outlook. Your heart's going to tell you something different there. But you really need, if I would suggest, there's some people that have really never dedicated their life to a church at all. I think before you could even speak to the people that have gone through all of that, or are still going through that, that you would have to actually experience that physical building and the people in there for yourself before you can actually speak on that. That's my outlook. I just thought I saw something here. I didn't though. I thought it was like a spider or something. I don't know. Anyway, cheers. Because I know somebody that has God in his heart, but he's not really ever devoted himself to a church. Should try that vibe. Just go pick one It doesn't matter what one. They're all either evangelistic, Zionistic, or based on Judaism in some respect. It's all Luciferian, and people just aren't getting that. They can say, well, they're Christian. Are you really? Do you even know who you're serving? I mean, in your heart, you probably do. But the founding fathers of that church, no, you don't. You see, that's the thing. How do we take back our religion and prove this to the people that want it proved? You know, if you don't want to be in the truth, I don't care personally, because your strive for life and other people isn't where it really needs to be. So you're kind of on the wayside. You're on the sidelines of this war of the roses, so to speak. You know, the dead rose or the live one, you know. Anyway, so in short, they tried to resurrect God to um, control that energy in it, and but they didn't understand the entwined nature of the Christ spirit within the female, and it's so disrespected. I don't give a fuck anymore. All you stupid fuckers that hate your mothers, whatever, or your wives, or whatever your retarded problem is to squelch the family on this planet. I don't care anymore. You're dense. And if you don't understand that word, you should look it up, because it's there's a vast meaning within just that word. It's a little word that means a whole lot. And I'm really sick of people trying to like some, well, I won't call them names, but I might. Give me a minute. You know, trying to belittle me for smoking my cigarettes in my temple where God resides. Okay? Mind over matter, baby. And what is your mind like? You know? So, anyway, I've been smoking since I was 5 years old, according to what the Surgeon General started saying about in the 70s. I shouldn't even be here, you know? Well, that's their science. My science tells me that my body heals from the inside out. And yes, it is my temple, not yours. And in my temple, God's smoking with me, just for the record. And you can think what you want. A message from Doug. He quit smoking, he said, for 20 years. Well, it wasn't 20, but it was quite some time. And when all this virus stuff started coming about, I had made a joke that maybe this is what you need to take care of that. And he did start smoking again. And um, actually, tobacco is, and nicotine is, a parasite preventative, believe it or not. So, what would be worse for you? That would you would have to determine for yourself, you know? Anyway, and for the record, I don't smoke around babies, you know? But anybody else, I mean, even If you came to visit me in my home and you didn't smoke, I would go away from you and smoke, even in my house, out of respect for you. That is how I go, you know. Or, I would walk out of the room and go somewhere else and smoke. Like when Doug wasn't smoking, I didn't sit there and smoke in his face or in the vehicle or anything, you know. It's called respect. But, just when I know somebody's brain isn't all there and they want to school me on my temple, right? Want to spar? How about arm wrestling? We'll see what a temple is, you know? Really, it is a matter of, it's kind of like with trauma. Whose trauma is worse than anybody else's? Or whose God is stronger in your heart or my heart? Does Could you prove it? Can I prove it? No, we can't. But the truth is always a good thing. And getting down to the truth and those scriptures and the words mean everything. Language is the absolute. If it weren't for the Tower of Babel, and gee, I wonder when those that one language everybody spoke and then things were separated. Why did that happen? Do you have any idea who did that and why they did that? It was for deception. God didn't confuse these languages, but somebody that's considered the trickster. Well, it's not very tricky. It's actually quite evil, you know. So that's the importance of taking back the scriptures and proving that something that was written 3,000 years ago and then hijacked to what we call our recent translations. Why would you want a translation when you can read what was written directly? And if you don't care to study language, then maybe you would want to listen to the people who have instead of these assholes out there just wanting your money. That's the part that gets me. So, well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you have a really beautiful rest of your weekend. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.